for in-orbit maneuvering. They're built in the facilities that you're seeing here on your screen, which is up in Redmond, Washington, which is near Seattle. These particular satellites today will be deployed at an altitude of about 163 miles or roughly 262 kilometers. They'll be deployed at an inclination of 97.3 degrees. There are those aforementioned Hall effect thrusters. In 2025, SpaceX closed the year out by launching a total of 122 missions, which carried Starlink satellites as the primary payload. We'll see what this year has in store for the Starlink constellation. Of course, one of the big factors that we'll be watching for will be the upcoming rollout of the V3 edition of Starlink satellites, which will be launched on board SpaceX Starship rocket. Here's a quick little size comparison as we pass by the 6-minute mark when RP1 loading on the rocket's first stage should be concluding. SpaceX says they can launch a batch of 60 Starlink V3s on a Starship mission, with deployment happening about once per minute. So it'll take around the order of an hour for full deployment of a batch of Starlink V3s from a Starship version 3 rocket. When will this start happening this year? A little hard to say, since we are still awaiting the timing of the first flight of a V3 rocket, which SpaceX's Bill Gerstenmaier, formerly from NASA, says that the first flight of a version 3 or Block 3 Starship rocket will most likely be a suborbital flight. And depending on the level of success that they see with that vehicle, then they might attempt an orbital launch on their next outing.
Tanks are pressing for strong back retrack.
Speaking of next outings, we are now less than 5 minutes away from the launch of SpaceX's next Falcon 9 rocket, which you can see right here on your screen. No classic Vandenberg fog to speak of, which is always delightful. Some of those higher clouds that I was mentioning, but hopefully folks are able to catch at least a glimpse of the Falcon 9 as it makes its ascent from Space Launch Complex 4 East.
Strong back lower has started.
With that call, first we will see the clamp arms just beneath those payload fairings open up, and then the large truss structure, the strong back, will recline 13 degrees away from the Falcon 9 rocket. You can see the strong back now in motion. It'll finish its reclining, and once it does this roughly 13-degree lean back away from the rocket, it'll stay in that position up to and through liftoff. Interestingly, we're taking note, as I'm sure you are, of the panel that is at the top of at least one half of the Falcon 9 fairings facing the camera. You could see what appears to be a number 4 upside down from our vantage point right here. Possibly those
Stage 1 lock fluid complete.
Are maybe Starship tiles that SpaceX is doing some additional testing with on their Falcon 9 rocket, and given that they're flying their own payload, they can make this adjustment and get some more heat data without necessarily having to fly another Starship mission. We'll, of course, wait official confirmation from SpaceX if this is in fact the case, but Could be an interesting research move by the company. We do start to see this more and more.
Stage 2, lock fluid complete.
Ground gas closeout.
Falcon 9 now fully loaded with 1 million pounds of propellant, and those ground gas closeouts mark the release of the remaining liquid oxygen from the feed lines there at the pad.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
With that call, we're just awaiting the SpaceX launch director to confirm that they are in fact go for launch.
LD is go for launch.
And with that call, we're going to go ahead and step back on our commentary, watch along with you, and we'll be back on the other side of liftoff.
T minus 3 seconds. T minus 15 seconds. T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Vehicles pitching downrange. M1D chamber pressure is nominal.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Falcon 9 is supersonic. Max Q.
Falcon 9 passing through max Q, the point of greatest aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. About a minute and a half post liftoff. MVAC chill should be underway shortly.
MVAC chilled.
There's that good call out. SpaceX is thermally conditioning the upper stage engine prior to the start of its first burn. Speaking of which, we're coming up to a few events in rapid succession here. We'll see first stage main engine cutoff, or MECO, right about T plus 2 minutes and 24 seconds post liftoff. That'll be followed shortly by stage separation and then the ignition of the Merlin vacuum engine. Payload fairings will jettison a little bit before the 3-minute mark in flight. We're just about 10 seconds to MECO.
Main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC startup.
You can just barely make out the plume from liftoff just to the left of the Merlin vacuum engine nozzle as the booster is slipping out of view.
Fairing separation confirmed.
There goes one half the payload fairings. Both fairing halves will be recovered a little bit further downrange from where the booster is set to land on the drone ship called, Of Course I Still Love You. A little more than 5 minutes into flight now. Coming up in just about a minute will be the 3-engine entry burn. SpaceX lights up 3 of the 9 Merlin engines to dramatically slow down the booster. So far appears to have been a nominal mission.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
Stage 1 FTS has saved.
This burn will last less than 30 seconds in duration. That other call you heard, the flight termination system has now been saved. No longer needed at this stage of the mission.
Entry burn shutdown.
And with the conclusion of the entry burn, coming up next will be the single engine landing burn, which should take this booster 1097 to a soft landing on the drone ship. Of Course I Still Love You. Again, this will be the 173rd landing on that particular vessel. If all goes well, this will also be the 563rd booster landing for SpaceX to date. Landing burn startup will be in less than 1 minute.
Stage 1 transonic.
Stage 2 FTS has safed.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
Landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And a successful touchdown for this particular booster, 1097. This launch today marks the fastest turnaround for this particular booster at just 14 days, knocking 3 days off of its prior turnaround time of 17 days. Still not the fastest turnaround, though, between
MVAC shutdown.
Falcon 9 first stage boosters. That distinction belongs
And we
to
have a nominal orbit insertion.
B1088, which so far still holds that record at a 9-day turnaround. The nominal orbit insertion that you just heard and a beautiful view of Earth below, the upper stage will continue to coast until T plus 53 minutes.